let's talk about P. Diddy.
Kara and Ellie, let me go to you. You've worked in the Southern District of New York. What is the significance of this being filed there, and can you explain a little bit more about these racketeering charges?
Yeah, Jim. So first of all, this is a federal indictment. It's been filed in the Southern District of New York, which covers Manhattan and the Bronx and some of the northern counties. So this will be a federal prosecution. Generally, federal prosecutions carry higher penalties, higher potential sentences than state prosecutions. And as I'll get to in a moment, that is certainly the case here. So this is a 3-count indictment against Sean Combs. Now, count 1 charges racketeering conspiracy. And the indictment alleges that Sean Combs, along with others who are not charged, but others, ran an enterprise, an operation, essentially a business that engaged in a series of crimes. Here, those crimes relate to, in fact, the indictment.
Bro, I was thinking about this. Like, he has a lot of money, and he can't really go to like Russia. But why the f didn't he just go to like Israel? Like, actually, he has so much goddamn money. Just go to Israel, dude. They took his passports. I'm saying before, man. I'm saying before all this, he was around. He really thought that like nothing would happen to him. That's crazy.
It names the racketeering enterprise the Combs Enterprise. That's the title that they gave the enterprise. So that's count 1. Now, count 2 is charges by force, fraud, or coercion, meaning that Sean Combs participated in transporting women across state lines for illegal purposes by force or by threats or by intimidation. That is an extraordinarily serious charge. If the prosecution can prove that, the minimum sentence there, if they convict.
His net worth is way low, like around 200 million. Did you just say his net worth is way low and then follow that up by saying $200 million? Dog, what are you talking about? Like, what has happened with Brandon inflation, dude? $200 million is an insane amount of money. He could go and live out on one of these like island nations for the rest of his life. See, now, here's what we're not going to do, okay? You see the Diddler finally get his comeuppance. And then there's a lot of white supremacists in here who are rushing to be like, oh, ain't no party like a Diddy party. It's like, yeah, he meant like, yeah, he meant that as a warning. Okay. He meant that as a warning where he was like, oh, there's guys, don't go to Diddy parties. Like they're having at the Diddy parties, like don't go there. That's what he was saying. LeBron was warning everybody. And you guys are out here trying to put a random, uninitiated, uninvolved black man down. Not just any black man, the GOAT. It's up what you guys are doing.
Sean Combs on that is 15 years and the maximum is life. 15-year minimum sentence. And then count 3 charges transportation of another individual to engage him. It's sort of a lesser included of count 2. So we've got a 3-count indictment, racketeering by force, and then interstate transportation for the purpose of. It's a very serious indictment. These charges are extremely serious. The Southern District of New York does cases like this. They do cases against powerful, famous individuals all the time. And soon Sean Combs will be in court, and he will certainly plead not guilty to this, and then we'll be underway with the proceedings.
Yeah, Ali, this is an extremely serious case. And Josh Campbell, let me go to you and see what you think in terms of what stands out to you in this indictment. It sounds as though there was a pretty extensive federal investigation here.
There was indeed. And, you know, it's interesting. We've been reporting all along based on those original allegations, which law enforcement sources tell us actually spurred this investigation. He was accused of obviously serious crimes, including women. And now we're seeing federal investigators actually bring criminal charges. What they allege in this indictment is that, you know.
Oh, no. Thank you, Diddy, for hosting this town hall last night. Oh, no. No. Dude, anyone that's like a Trump supporter going well about Kamala Harris and Diddy don't know anything about Donald Trump. Donald Trump has literally been at Diddy parties. Donald Trump has had Melania Trump at Diddy parties. Donald Trump is literally way more involved with Diddy than any other politician. So the fact that people are like, oh, yeah, okay, here we go. Kamala Harris, Diddy hosted him town hall is so funny because they just have no idea that Donald Trump and, you know, Sean Diddy Combs are directly linked.
You know, Puff Daddy, I'm an entertainer. I entertain people no matter what time of day, you know, whether you like it or not. I go all day, all night.
I will tell you that you do fantastically well.
Yes.
You know, just tremendous. you really, it takes a tough guy. Hey, it takes the brains and it takes the this,
Yeah.
but it also takes a toughness.
Yeah, I go to bed like 4 o'clock.
Well, I really like it, and I would tell you if I didn't. Because, and by the way, I think at a certain point, everyone will.
Beautiful. We all human beings, and a few people were saying I was this, I was this violent character, just because I was breaking people's jaws and arms, and look at me. I'm like, I'm just a passionate young man, and I made a mistake.
Well, everybody's going to get in trouble. It's a question of how do you get out of trouble.
Oh.
And I did it by working smart. More importantly than anything else is by using my own brain.
Oh, never mind. This is fake. The conversation that never took place between people who never met, created using existing interviews, but these people have met. Why are they making it seem like these people have never met? They've hung out a lot. I got fake news, dude. Later that night, they both went to a party at Epstein Island. They have. That interview's fake, but they've hung out a lot, dude. There's like a ton of photos of them together. Like, look at this. Look at this. Brian Grazer, Donald Trump, Brett Ratner, Melania Trump, and Sean Diddy Combs attend the premiere of Tower Heist. This is real.
And focused businesswoman, because working for Diddy for 6 years trained me to have to be perfect.
Working for Diddy?
Absolutely.
I love Diddy.
Don's never been wider. I love Diddy.
My nizzle. He's a good friend of mine.
Oh my God, dude. People were so comfy. White people were so goddamn comfortable, dude.
Good guy.
Is
he a good guy?
I don't want to answer that question.
Oh, wow. I think he's a good guy. I'm going to stick up for him. All right.
Whoa, I think he's a good guy. Oh my God. What? Do you remember this 2012 ad featuring Trump, Swift, Martha Stewart, and Diddy? No.
And we're back, and it's time for the news nightcap. You each have 30 seconds to say your piece. Ellie, you're up.
My big story this weekend was the New York Times' excellent reporting on John Roberts and how he's been putting the thumb on the scale. Roberts and his Supreme Court.
I loved it today, and had an interesting headline about Democratic lawmakers.
Was arrested in Sag Harbor after drinking a martini.
Count. This is business as long as I did.
Before we go, Chris.
Well, politicians come and go, but celebrity rules everything around me. And tonight, we've talked about a couple different celebrities. Turns out they were all in an ad together.
They're trying to do NPR Can't Let It Go so bad, by the way. It's CNN. And yes, I'm a ginormous nerd for that reference, but that's literally what they're doing. What can't you let go this week?
In 2012, Macy's, I believe leading up to the holiday season, had an ad featuring a number of bright stars: Martha Stewart, Sean Diddy Combs, Taylor Swift, and Donald Trump, all in the same commercial.
Just a reminder of people who are wondering, like, who's more linked up with Diddy.
We're all familiar with Sean Combs' media enterprise, but they're essentially saying that his enterprise existed for his own gratification, and you had all of these staff members that were there essentially assisting him in this effort, to include members of his security team, members of his household staff, other employees. And as we look through this indictment, again, that was just unsealed, I want to read you one portion which lays out this slew of allegations. They say in this indictment that members and associates of the Combs enterprise engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other activities, trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for purposes of coercion and enticement to engage in offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. So just a litany of charges there. Of course, Combs himself has said all along that he is not guilty. His attorney indicated that he is planning to fight these charges. But you go back and look, this is really interesting, Jim, at how Sean Combs originally responded to these civil suits whenever they came out. They essentially went after the women who were making these allegations. At one point saying, at least one of them was someone who was just looking for a quick payday. That all changed when CNN broke exclusively that footage of Sean Combs in a hotel here in Los Angeles.
It is genuinely nuts that he just didn't try to escape. Like, how stupid, how incredibly dumb. But did he do it? Yes, he do it. He did.
Physically assaulting his former girlfriend, and then we saw his tone start to change a little bit. He came out with, an apology. Again, that stands in stark contrast to how aggressive his team was towards these women. And all behind the scenes, finally, it's important to note that there's this agency that may not be a household name, but it's HSI, Homeland Security Investigations. It's an arm of the Department of Homeland Security. They specialize in human trafficking. They looked at these allegations and indicated there is a federal crime that's been committed here, and now we're seeing in this indictment they allege multiple crimes.
Yeah, it sounds like the feds are just throwing the book at him. All right, guys, Kara, Josh, and Ellie, thank you so much for your time this morning. We appreciate it.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Damian Williams, and I'm the U.S. Attorney here in the Southern District of New York. Today, I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, trafficking, interstate transportation. The indictment alleges that between at least 2008 and the present, Combs threatened and coerced victims to fulfill his desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. As alleged in the indictment, to carry out this conduct, Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice. Let me say a little bit more about the charges. The indictment alleges that Combs exploited women and other people for years, and in a variety of ways. As alleged, Combs used...
No, Diddy will not get Epsteined, dude. Why the f would he get Epstein? He's not like... I think he was just a real freak. He was doing it for his own, like, freakish desires. And not because, like, he was working with the CIA and possibly Mossad. He was just the Diddler. Have they confirmed who was at Diddy's party? I hate to say it, but wasn't Braun known to party with them? Okay, everybody, this is not about LeBron, okay? He was blackmailing people like Epstein did, though. Yeah, but I think the people that he was blackmailing were, you know, they were... Guys, Jeffrey Epstein was hanging out with princes. Jeffrey Epstein was hanging out with Ehud Barak in like 2016. Okay, former Prime Minister of Israel, Ehud Barak. Like, there are levels to this. Like, he wasn't blackmailing people that are weapons contractors and people who have the capacity to say yes and no to legal affairs involving the state. He was probably blackmailing, I don't know, like celebrities and for his own freak off. He blackmails workers against their will to do his trafficking, not governments. Yeah. Like, it's like thinking Andrew Tate is like Jeffrey Epstein. You know what I mean? What? Hasan actually couldn't be more wrong about this. Extremely naive about the people connected to Diddy. Lucian, like, come on. This is not about LeBron James. Okay. Can we just stop repeating the lie that LeBron James hung out with Diddy? He never did. And even if you show me the AI footage of supposedly AI LeBron James saying, ain't no party like a Diddy party, I'm gonna ban you. He would never. He probably was there as a white hat to save the kids if he was there, which I maintain the position that he wasn't. Yeah. Why are you defending him? LeBron James? Because he's an honest man and he was probably wearing a wire. You guys are going to feel really silly when you find out that this investigation only happened because LeBron James, one, precogged it, okay, as he always has that capacity. He knew ahead of time that, you know, something was wrong before even ever entering a Diddy party. Then he did go to a Diddy party to like investigate and then immediately alerted the authorities. And for years, the authorities did not move. Okay. And then finally, the authorities are like, all right, LeBron, we'll listen to you. Okay. That's Captain Lamerica, by the way. Remember, you're unpatriotic. You're unpatriotic. You hate America if you hate LeBron James. Remember that. You're white supremacist and you hate America. Okay. And then he probably went to these guys over here and was like, I'll wear a wire, like I'll film it. Give me that, like, I don't know. Give me like one of those like pen cameras or something. Like I'll film everything. And then he did, and that's what happened.
Use force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended performances with male commercial workers, some of whom he
did investigative journalism. Okay.
Transported or caused.
It's not even just LeBron James. It's a federal agent.
Be transported over state lines. Combs allegedly planned and controlled the performances, which he called, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-off sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial workers.
Bro, that's crazy to have like a serious, like a district attorney saying the term freak off. What has happened? We have devolved as a society. I keep repeating this over and over again, but America is in a weird place, man. We as a nation are in a weird place, dog. Like,
and often involved a variety of, such as ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB, which Combs distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant. As alleged, when Combs didn't get his way, he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal so that they would participate and that Combs kicked, threw objects at, and dragged victims, at times by their hair. On one occasion in March of 2016, That conduct was captured on video and later reported in the media. Specifically, Combs kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a victim in a Los Angeles hotel when the victim was attempting to flee. As alleged, these assaults often resulted in injuries to the victims, which took days or weeks to heal. In addition to the indictment alleges that Combs threatened and coerced victims to get them to participate in the...
Stop. This is like, stop. Just, bro, this is like detailing harrowing incidents of like, and then he says freak off, and it's like, I can't. Like, this makes it so unserious. These are such serious crimes. No, what the, bro, that is crazy. It's like shocking my brain every time I just say they're orgies or something. Please stop saying freak offs. Like, don't these guys have a term? Like, I feel like they usually use such clinical language when they talk about stuff like this, or they'll be like, an incident occurred of a large gathering intended to do events or something. You know what I mean? Like, just say other things, please. Like an erotic event or something. Group encounters, freak offs.
He used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of them as collateral against the victims. And the indictment alleges that he maintained control over the victims in several ways, including by giving them drugs, by giving and threatening to take away financial support or housing, by promising them career opportunities, by monitoring their whereabouts, and even by dictating their physical appearance. Because of all of this, the indictment alleges that the victims did not believe they could be risking their security or facing more abuse. The indictment also alleges other acts undertaken by Combs and others, including against witnesses to his abuse. And the indictment alleges that on more than one occasion, Combs carried or brandished firearms to intimidate and threaten victims and witnesses. Now, Combs did not do this all on his own. As I mentioned, Combs has been charged with RICO conspiracy. He used his business and employees of that business and other close associates to get his way. Those individuals allegedly included high-ranking supervisors in the business, personal assistants, security staff, and household staff. The indictment alleges that those individuals facilitated they booked the hotel rooms and stocked them with the supplies, including drugs, baby oil, personal lubricant, extra linens, and lighting. When the hotel rooms got damaged, they helped clean it up. They arranged for victims and commercial workers to travel for the freak-offs, and they delivered large quantities of cash to Combs to pay for the commercial workers. The indictment also alleges that they helped Combs cover up his crimes. During the March 2016 incident at the LA hotel that I mentioned earlier, a member of the hotel security staff intervened, and Combs attempted to bribe the staff member with a stack of cash to make sure that what happened was kept quiet. And as the indictment alleges, in late 2023, after public allegations were made about Combs' crimes, he and others pressured witnesses and victims to stay silent, including by making phone calls to witnesses and victims and giving them a false narrative of what they had experienced. And as alleged, Combs used others to help conceal his abuse by monitoring and preventing victims from leaving a location in order to hide their injuries, or by locating and contacting a victim who had attempted to flee. As part of this investigation, in March of this year, special agents from HSI executed search warrants at Combs' residences in Miami and Los Angeles. They also executed a warrant for Combs' electronic devices. During those searches, agents seized evidence of the crimes charged in this indictment. They seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 defaced AR-15s and a large-capacity drum magazine. They also seized evidence of the electronic devices that contain images and videos with multiple victims. And they seized cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the more than 1,000 bottles altogether. Here are some of the items that we recovered during the searches. As you can see here, this is a drum magazine, large capacity, and it contains, I believe, 59 rounds. I mentioned as well, we recovered 3 AR-15s. This is a close-up shot of one of the AR-15s, and you can see right here, the serial number has been thoroughly defaced. Another picture of more ammunition and parts of 2 AR-15s right there. Now, I want to be clear about 2 things. First,
bro was running like he was El Chapo. Yeah, but like instead of running drugs, he was just like doing.
This office is determined to investigate and prosecute anyone who engages in no matter how powerful or wealthy or famous you may be.
Yeah, El Frico, dude. God damn, the amount of times they said freak off is crazy.
No one should doubt our commitment on that. A year ago, Sean Combs stood in Times Square and was handed a key to New York City. Today, he's been indicted and will face justice in the Southern District of New York.
Who handed him the key?
Second, we are
Take his ass down too, man. Take his ass down too, man. That's another freak. Yo, oh my God. Oh my God. Eric Adams is a freak. They're also literally investigating him too. Oh my God. Imagine if Eric Adams was at the, oh my God. Oh my God. I could see that. I totally could see that. Eric Adams, polyamorous, by the way. I could totally see that.
Done. This investigation is ongoing, and I encourage anyone with information about this case to come forward and to do it quickly. Anyone with information can call 1-877-4HSI-TIP. I want to express my deep appreciation for the victim.
Diddy returns key to New York City after request from Mayor Adams. The key to the city was initially awarded to the music mogul in September. Adams initially awarded Combs the key in September. Security video obtained by CNN shows Combs attacking Cassie in a hotel hallway. Adams said he was deeply disturbed by the assault footage. I strongly condemn these actions and stand in solidarity with all the survivors of domestic and gender-based. It's not 1-800 freak off, is it?
Victims and witnesses who have used their voices and helped bring this criminal conduct to light. We would not be here without them. I also want to thank the dedicated case agents on the HSI Trafficking in Person Squad in New York. They have been with us since day one and have worked tirelessly on this investigation. They will continue to be invaluable partners to us. I also want to thank the incredible agents and analysts from SCNY who have also provided tremendous assistance on this case. I'm deeply grateful for their continued work. And finally, I want to thank the outstanding career prosecutors from SCNY who are handling this case. Meredith Foster, Emily Johnson, Chrissy Slavic, Madison Smizer, and Mitzi Steiner, and their supervisors.
Didn't you went to an orgy one time? Yeah, but it wasn't a Diddy party. I actually literally, I mean, old heads know this. I broke up with a former girlfriend of mine because she was insistent on going to a Diddy party. And I was like, I literally broke up with her on the phone. I was like, okay, you can go, you know, have fun. You're no longer my girlfriend. I've talked about this before. I've literally brought this story up before. Even before when we talked about it, it was a party at P. Diddy's house. I don't think it was a Diddy party technically. How did you know? You said it on Scuffed? Yeah. No, it wasn't Janice. Everybody stop. You have never brought this up since I started following you, bro. Yes, I have. I've absolutely talked about this before. I think like a lot of the memes about Diddy from way before came from the fact that he was like, and people were already like calling him a freak for that reason. Like he was having like these parties and he's bi and he's like doing all this weird, like I don't think people knew that he was, you know, doing this kind of stuff, you know, going to this degree. I remember back then Chad was so weirded out by why you didn't want to go to the Diddy party too. Yeah, I talked about this before. Like I didn't, like it was someone else's birthday at his house and she was like, yeah, he doesn't want any like guys to come. And I was like, okay, well, you can go. Like we were supposed to hang out. If you want to go with that bet, go. You're no longer my girlfriend. Hasan, you could have met LeBron there. You missed out. Okay, that's like, I don't know if he was there. We don't know. I mean, I thought it was suspicious that she was like only girls, no men. I was like, okay, well, you want to go after that, go have fun.
Jamie Backleeper and Jacqueline Kelly. They are members of the Civil Rights Unit in our criminal division. We created the Civil Rights Unit when I became U.S. Attorney. I am deeply proud of their work on this and so many other cases. I'll now take some questions.
Eric Katursky, ABC.
Damian, thanks. The indictment describes aggressive, open, violent, hedonistic abuse that you say was recurrent and widely known. Why did it take law enforcement so long to intervene? How many women were victimized by Sean Combs and how many others were involved?
Look, our investigation is ongoing. We are committed to bringing justice to everyone who's been victimized by the defendant. I can't tell you why it took so long. I think the better focus is on the fact that we are here today and we are committed to making sure that justice is done. Next question.
Thank you. Hello. Julia Ainsley, NBC.
What the?
Thank you for doing this. You said we are not done and that Combs did not do this alone. Do you foresee that there could be other charges related to this case?
I'm not taking anything off the table.
Janet Fisher, Newsday.
What?
What's the difference between me and promoting travel for the purpose of?
Well, there are different
Please.
crimes with different elements. I don't think we should get into the nitty-gritty of the legal discussion right now,
Please.
but we believe they're all serious offenses, but the conduct carries some significant penalties, and we are gratified that we were able to bring that charge.
One more coercive than the other?
What do you want?
I'm not going to be able to get into that, but you can look it up, and yes, especially when it involves coercion or force, is a very serious crime, and it carries significant penalties.
Good afternoon, Darla Miles, ABC 7 New York. Thank you for this press conference and for the details. 2 questions. In context of this indictment and the information that was presented to the grand jury, are you able to clarify the number of victims? It's mentioned plural in the indictment, but can you specify the number of victims just for this particular indictment? And secondly, can you provide details about the alleged?
Unfortunately, I'm not able to provide either. The number of victims, you are correct. We are intentional in saying multiple. The details of the incident are limited to what we have in the indictment and also the detention letter that we filed, which contains more details than the indictment does at various points. But we don't have anything more beyond that. Next question.
Lynn Tran, CNN.
Are any of his accomplices or associates under investigation? Additionally, could he face any more charges?
This is my moodang.
So the investigation is ongoing. That means both as to him and to anyone else who we believe committed the crime with him. Next question.
Juliet Papa.
Hi, good morning from 1010 Wins. Any indication that some of the women or victims here were imprisoned in his residences, and did he have locations where he kept them, and were not allowed to leave? And also, he's indicted here, although there were searches and raids in LA, Miami. Why in New York?
Well, I'm biased. I'm the U.S. Attorney in the Southern District of New York. I think that we have an outstanding track record of bringing some of the most impactful, sprawling, complex, difficult human trafficking, labor trafficking, you name it. The Southern District of New York can do it, and so we're very proud of that. And so the scope and complexity of this investigation isn't something that we ran from. It's something that we embrace, and we will continue to do that. As to your question about whether he imprisoned anyone, all I can say is that, I mentioned this March 2016 incident where something was caught on video where a victim was attempting to flee, and that was associated with it. That was at a hotel.
Matthew Lee, Inner City Press.
Thanks a lot. Does your office intend to seek remand, or are you reaching a bail package? And if you're willing, how would you contrast this with the R. Kelly case in EDNY in terms of the elements? Thanks.
So we will be seeking detention. We have filed a letter laying out our reasoning for seeking pretrial detention. I'm not going to be able to expand beyond what's in the letter, but it contains all of the reasoning, and it contains the law as well. There is a presumption of detention in a case like this, and we think that's warranted.
John Anise, New York Daily News.
Thank you. I was hoping to get some more detail about the searches of his residence, the guns, the cases of lubricant, and the videos. Where were they found amongst his residence? Were they all scattered around the houses in one place? I kind of wanted to just get a better picture of how that stuff was found.
Well, look, I think that some of the details that you're seeking are in the detention letter. So, for instance, some of the
That's a weird question.
2 of the 3 defaced AR-15s were found in his bedroom closet in Miami, broken down into parts along with magazines with ammunition loaded in them. So,
being in Hollywood, were there rumors about this?
Letter. Beyond that, I'm not going to be able.
Bitch, you think I would know? Bro's not a reporter. He's just a gooner. Yeah, he was like, exactly where were they found? How the f would I know, dude? Come on, bro. Don't lie. Yeah, I was definitely Hollywood elite in like 2016 too, or even earlier than that. Mr. Hollywood elite me. I'm not even a Hollywood elite now, dude. Your ex-girlfriend was invited to one? Yeah, she was a model. That's a little different, don't you think?
Be able to get into where other items were stored.
Ben Kochman, Post.
Hey, thanks for doing this. Your office was the office that had been prosecuting Jeffrey Epstein before.
All this channel is yapping 24/7. I mean, yeah, I'm a political commentator. That's all I do. And I serve 3-minute ad breaks at the top of the hour in between. Because at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. If you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe, which you can do for $6 or free with a Twitch Prime. Here's the ad break now.
He died in custody. I have not read your detention memo yet. It's the first thing I'm going to do after this ends. But does the memo address, or is your office concerned with Combs' safety in custody, given what happened with Epstein?
So we are concerned with anyone's safety whenever they are detained prior to trial. It's part of our obligations to keep people safe as well. It's part of the criminal justice system. So, but I do not draw any sort of connection between Jeffrey Epstein's suicide and what may or may not happen to any other defendant while they are detained pre-trial. And of course, the decision whether to detain the defendant will be up to a judge. Our position is that pretrial detention is warranted under the law and based on the facts of this case, and I'll leave it at that.
Are some of the prosecutors on this case some of the same prosecutors that had been handling that, or that worked on the Maxwell case?
So I'm not going to get into the staffing. I will say that this team, this group of AUSAs, this incredible group has been working on this case around the clock, and they've had their hands full. Next question.
Gus Rosendale, NBC News.
Good morning, sir. Combs' attorney said that his client has been cooperative with investigators. He said that this morning. I was wondering if you would have a reaction to that.
Let me just say this. I think that generally with increasing frequency, the word cooperative or cooperating has taken on tremendous elasticity and no longer really bears any relation to what
his bail was denied.
The word means when we use it in a very specific context. So responding to lawful process.
All of you refusing to take this seriously disgust me. It isn't an orgy. It isn't diddling. This is rape and not a funny or joking topic. Please educate yourself. You're making it unsafe for victims in this chat. No, that's why I was saying, like, calling it a freak off is insane. Like, because it's a serious case with serious victims, which is why it was wild to me that they literally called it a freak off, which is objectively an unserious thing, approximately 25 times.
And the like does not qualify as cooperation when we use that term here.
That one friend that's too
Mike
woke.
Sisak, AP.
Thanks. To that end, was there any discussion of Mr. Combs surrendering? I understand he was taken into custody at a hotel in Manhattan last night, and maybe that wasn't the plan. Can you elaborate on how that came about and why that was?
I'm not going to be able to get into any sort of operational details as to how he was taken into custody and when. He is in custody right now. He will be appearing in court later today.
Was there any discussion of him surrendering, given they claim he's cooperating?
I'm not going to be able to get into law enforcement tactics or operations. Well, I can't get into the charging decision. It is very meaningful to us that weapons were possessed, as we allege in the indictment. Part of the reason why this conduct was so pervasive and harmful was because victims and others didn't necessarily feel comfortable denying him his wishes, as we allege, because of the presence of firearms. I should leave it there.
Thanks. Last question, Jacob Shamison.
Jacob Shamsian, Business Insider. Thank you. Given that he's the sole defendant in this case and that you allege he's part of a conspiracy that involves members of his companies, do you anticipate a superseding indictment that bring allegations against other members of his companies or other co-conspirators as well?
I can't take anything off the table. Anything is possible. Our investigation is very active and ongoing. And I think a lot of you who cover this office know that when we say such things, that developments are certainly foreseeable, but I cannot predict them sitting here today. All right, thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.